Hey everyone, happy Friday. It is 6:45. I am actually on time, so that's pretty impressive. And I almost have the project prepared, so also impressive. Hello, Amy. Okay, so if you follow me, if you follow my page, if you do, then you know that right now I have a promo going on for this stamp set. So this coming home stamp set, which is a lovely photopolymer stamp set. Here it is here. Also, it has corresponding dies. It also has DSP. It has embellishments. It has ribbon. So it's pretty much off the charts, to be honest. Hello, Sandra. I'm currently offering a special. So this is the Make a Difference stamp set. So for every stamp set sold, hello, Lynn Scott, Stamping Up is donating $4 to charities that are involved with infertility, adoption, and foster care. So those are important things for me. So if you want to know more about that, you can just check out my Facebook page. And yes, so I'm totally promoting it. So we're going to make some things with it. And anyone who orders this is getting a quarter pack of the coordinating DSP from me. And if you order the bundle, you're getting half a pack of DSP. So I'm going to show you a few things I have already made, and I'm going to show you something I'm half made, and then we are going to finish making something together, and we're going to go from there. All right. So this card I made the other day. I'm going to just move these things aside for now, and I'm going to switch out the red background because I think that can be a little bit off-putting. So we're just going to flip that over so that I also have my page to stamp on. There we go. Okay. So this guy I made the other day, and he's pretty much a case out of the catalog. So a case is when we copy and share everything, or copy and selectively edit. So I generally try to selectively edit because I like to at least put a little spin. So this, if you check the catalog, I think it's page 34, I want to say. I've pretty much done the coloring like they did. The paper's the same, the ribbon's the same. I used a different greeting because I didn't have the one they had. And I didn't add as many embellishments. But I loved this card. I love the DSP that they chose. I think it's super cute. So that is that. Okay, now I want to show you what I was working on and what we are going to work on today. And I've already done some of the pieces in advance so that hopefully this won't take us forever. Okay, so what I have done, in case you're wondering, because I've already put this one together, more or less. I have taken watercolor paper. I'm still not very good at this. My friend Chandra, who is watching, she is Dragonfly Paper Crafts, and she is really good at this, and I am just sort of slowly finding my way. So this is watercolor paper. I spritzed it. I should have added more water, and that's why I have these darker bits, because I didn't add enough water. So you get it all wet, and then you put some ink on it. So you can drop re-inker, or you can take your aqua painter and take ink out of the top of your stamp pad, and then you put it on and you kind of go like this and it moves around and you get these really cool backgrounds. So I created enough that I had two. So I've already used one here and we are going to use the other one here. Now you might be wondering about this white piece, and I can see now that this piece has some black on it, but that's okay, we're going to cover it up. What I did to get this white bit is I took just a square of cardstock and I ran it through with the not tasteful. I don't think it's tasteful. Textile, something textile. Oh, it is tasteful. The Tasteful Textile Embossing Folder. To kind of just add some texture so it looked a little bit more like snow. If you follow Stampin' Up's site or other demos or even Pinterest, because there are tons of fabulous ideas for the stamp set on Pinterest. So if you decide to buy it, trust me, you will not be shy for ideas. Some people are using the snowflake embossing folder, but I wanted something a little less, a little subtler. So I used the Tasteful Textile. And so then what you do is if you do it on a rectangle, so let's presume I had done it on here, then you just take your circle die and you cut it out. But what I also did, because if you're kind of wondering, well, it's got this like little curve to it. So these are the dies that come with this bundle. So you can see we have the houses, all 3 of the houses, all 4 of the houses, all 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 of the houses. And then we have these extra little houses with a heart and a star. And we have the 2 trees, we have the wreath, we have this other tree, and we have the car. And then we have these 2 sloping hills. So one with a tree and one with just the slope. So this is what I did. I basically took my white piece of cardstock that I had embossed, and then I just used this guy to create a bit of a hill, and then I cut it so it would fit the circle. And so I did the same thing here. And I just wanted to do that so that I could have 2 dimensions to this image. So it didn't look super flat. I could have like a houses in the foreground and then houses in the background. Okay, so that's what I had going on there. And like I said, I did some of these pieces in advance. It means I'm not big shotting while we're trying to do the video, because that takes me out of the screen. And B, it's time consuming and boring for you guys to watch. Okie dokie. Okay, so this one that I've already made, and we're basically going to sort of recreate this, but slightly different. I didn't stamp any of these. What I did was I cut them out of the DSP. So this DSP is fabulous. It's got all the little houses. It has all these different greetings. And your dies will actually cut these out if you chose to get the bundle. I didn't have the dies when I started to work on this card, so I just cut all the houses out with scissors. So that is what we call fussy cutting. And it's an awesome thing to do if you don't want to purchase the dies, but you want to have the paper. So I just fussy cut the houses and 3 trees, and then out of that paper that had all the greetings, you can see I fussy cut a whole bunch of the greetings. So I cut out all the ones that were in big block letters. There's a whole bunch that are in script handwriting. There's other languages, but I just wanted all of the ones that were in block letters. So that is what I have done, and then I've got those there for when I want to use them. Now check out this little guy, just a little side promo for Lego. Super cute, right? It's got a little drawer, you get to decorate it. Anyway, it's fun. Okay, so I have attached them here to my sort of nice little sky background. This is all put on with just adhesive, and then this house here I've popped up. Now, this is another piece of the DSP, so you can see the houses are on this side, and I've just changed it over to the Misty Moonlight side with the stripes. This is our pool party cardstock, and the reason I've pulled out the pool party is because I have it in the house here, okay? So what I think I'm gonna do for this, I want this to pop, and it's not because it's on the same color. So I'm just going to frame it out with a little bit of pool party. So I'm gonna put a bit of adhesive on the back here, and you're gonna see what I mean. I've just cut this strip, and I'm just gonna place it so it overlaps where that's gonna be. Make sure it's straight. Press it down. And you're not gonna see that. Sorry, I'm sort of scanning my desk at the same time looking for my Stampin' seal. And I don't see it. And then it's just gonna go on here like this. This is going to be the card. The only other thing I'm thinking would be cute on here would be to take the little snowflakes, which I used on my card. If you follow my page or my Instagram, I used them on the card today. So we've got these little snowflakes, and I think we could sort of stamp them in the background. So I might add that to this. But we're gonna move on to this other card and actually make it from scratch. But I just wanted to show this card that I had been working on. So we're going to make a very similar card, but I wanted to show you what it looked like if you just cut out from the DSP. But now we are going to make a similar card, but we're going to actually color the items and die cut them. So as I was showing you, I've done some coloring already, and I did this last night at my son's lacrosse practice. Thank you, Lynn. So I was just killing time because we can't get out of the car and watch the practices because of COVID. So I was doing some coloring. So I've been sticking primarily with the colors that are in the DSP that go with the ribbon. So that's Old Olive, it's Pool Party, it's Poppy Parade, and then it's the new Misty Moonlight. It also has Early Espresso. So we don't have an Early Espresso blend, but we have Soft Suede. So I threw that in on this house. And then I've also been using the Smoky Slate. And then I've also used over here the black. Okay, so that's what I've done so far. So I want to use this red house. And then we'll pick one of the little houses. Maybe you guys can help me decide what color. The cars are super cute. You saw that I had that on the other one. And so I will show you, we'll maybe do a little bit of coloring on this card. Hey, Vanessa, just so you can see sort of what I'm doing. So I've already done a little bit of prep on this card, and I'm just gonna kind of walk you through what I've done. So this is with the dark Poppy Parade. And I have put lines on the roof where I want it to be darker, so similar to what I've done on this house here. And I've already done the door, and I've left a bit in the middle, which is where we're gonna put the lighter color to sort of create that shadowing or just where things would fade with the sun hitting it, natural light. I really wanted to have a house with a red roof. I thought that would be fun. So we're actually, I think we might do this house in gray or brown. So I'd be curious to see what you guys think, as opposed to doing it in like one of the blues or the greens. But I'm going to show you what we're going to do on the door. So now we've got this spot where we're going to use our lighter color. So we're just going to take this blend and we're just going to go around and around and around and around in circles. So I learned a really good tip myself watching another demo. And basically she said, you want your paper to be saturated. So when you flip it over, because this is just your regular density Whisper White, it's not the thick cardstock, you want to be able to see through it. So everywhere you can see through, it means you've really saturated the paper with your blends markers. And what I have found is the more saturated it is, the more natural looking blending you're going to get. So I'm just going to keep going over this until you can't really see where the dark was. The dark and the light kind of fade together. So I like how that's looking now. I don't know if you guys can kind of tell, but you can still see a bit of light there, but it's not like an obvious, here's where the dark was, here's where the light was, which I think I've done a pretty good job of doing on the blue here. I'll just hold it up so you guys can see it a bit better. So I think I've done a good job by really blending so you don't see that. So we're gonna just do the same on the roof. The roof, I actually don't mind if the dark sort of shows a bit more. And I know when I did the blue one, I actually had to go back a second time with my dark marker so that it really stood out, because I wanted really for you to notice that demarcation between sort of the, what would you call these? The lines on the roof, the different, because it would be depth, it would be texture, right? These are like shingles or like pieces of siding. Okay, so I'm going to take the dark out again and just go over those lines again. The one thing, if you are new to blends, is it changes a little as it dries. So if you are looking at it and thinking, I'm not sure, I don't love that, move on to something else and come back, because you may find that as it really sort of sets and dries into the paper, you actually have the look that you wanted, or you need to sort of do a bit more fixing. Now, this isn't ideal. You can see I've kind of gone in there. So we're actually going to cut out one of these wreaths and put it there because I didn't do the best job. But another trick for that is you take your color lifter. It's not perfect, but you can take your color lifter and kind of color where you went out of the lines, and it will help lift some of that off. That's the other thing to know about your blends markers, is they do sort of bleed a little bit, so you don't always want to get super close to the lines. Okay, so we're gonna make a similar kind of scene. I've just chosen, so I went with this DSP, so now this is off one of the big sheets. It's the squiggles. There's red and white squiggles. There's also polka dots. but my son, I asked him earlier and he liked the squiggles. So this one we're actually going to mount on a Whisper White card like that. And then we're gonna put this guy on here. So it's gonna be a similar looking card. We're just gonna have a totally different color scheme. So I would be curious if you guys think we should do this house. We could do it gray or we could do it brown. I'm kind of leaning towards gray. What are people thinking? I think the brown might look a bit dirty. I'm gonna pull out the gray and see what people say. No one's saying anything at the moment. Gray, yeah, okay, gray. Okay, so I've got the dark smoky slate to start with, and I'm going to do the roof line in the dark. And if you want something to be even darker, then you can just go over it several times and you will just really get that saturated. Of course, we're gonna have to die cut these, but again, if you didn't get the bundle, you could just fussy cut. So I'm gonna show you how I did the house over here. So I changed to my fat side, and I did, or my brush side, I did a thick brush line down that side, and I did a brush line along the bottom of the house, and then I did a brush line over here, and a brush line down on this side, and then I did up here as well. And I basically took the brush down through the middle and then sort of right under the windows and also right on the top and around the door. You could also use the other edge, the pen end, if you when you don't want it this thick, okay? And then over here, what I've been doing is kind of just sort of gradually getting thicker, going out more, out more, out more, out more, out more, and creating like a bit of a little shape in there. All right, and then again, we're just gonna do like we did before. So we're gonna take our light one, and we're just gonna do these circles, and we're just gonna go over and over and over and over and over until we get what we like and until that dark blends in. And then we can always add more dark. And you'll notice it change and sort of blend. So it's really cool, actually. And then I was talking to my friend Chandra today, and we were talking about this. So I was like, you know, if you don't have the blends, I don't want people to think that you have to go out and buy these blends markers to do this stamp set. You definitely don't. So if you have the watercolor pencil crayons, this would be another great thing to use to color. You could also just color with your Stampin' Right markers. You just wouldn't get any blending, so you would just have a single shade. So it would just look a little flatter. Or if you have kiddos and you got like Crayola markers, I mean, really, you can color this with anything. You're not going to get the same effect. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I wouldn't be using the blends if I didn't think they were gonna give me the best result. But if you would like to support a good cause and you like the idea of this stamp set, but you're like, I don't really want to invest in a whole bunch of markers right now, then that would be my option for you. So you can see when we look closely, we've got some of the darker shading, then we've got the lighter bits, and it's sort of darker around there. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't want it to be too dark. And then you can always, always, always go back in with your dark one. And like I said, if you had really made it too dark, you could bring in the color lifter. Okay, so I'm gonna cut out this big house and I'm gonna cut out one of the wreaths. And so You would want to have the magnetic plate here for your die cutting machine. If you did not have a magnetic plate, but you do have a die cutting machine, I would suggest then that you're going to want to use some washi tape, because the washi tape's not going to stick to your paper. And it is going to then stop your dies from moving off your image. Okay, I'm still using my old magnetic plate. I have purchased the new one, but I don't have it open yet. I haven't played around with it. So just so we're not mucking about with that, we're gonna stick with the old one. What I've learned from watching someone else use this wreath is that it can cut out the wreath in the DSP, which is pretty awesome. That just means you wouldn't get to color it. So, but there's a whole sheet of DSP that's got the wreath. You have to decide though, A, do you like to color? B, do you not want to use up DSP by cutting out of it? Even when I was cutting those pieces for the background, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. So you can see, because I'm using the old magnetic plate, if you're wondering what's going on, it's not a full sheet of magnet. So then sometimes the magnets will jump because they're trying to go to where there's a magnet, and it might not be where you want them. So you kind of have to fidget, which is what I'm having to do here. And now I feel like that is not lining up properly. There we go. Okay, so I'm happy with how those are both placed. Oh my God, you know what I've done though? See, I do this all the time. I didn't put the plate under it. Let's see how well I can do that. No, not bad. I don't know how many times I do that because I get so concentrated on lining it up and I realize I haven't put my clear plate down. It won't cut without the clear plate. So this is why Stampin' Up! Made a new magnetic plate, because you can see this is kind of a pain in the, you know what. Does anyone have a glass of wine? Because I know that I don't, and that was a mistake. After this. Oh my goodness. We might just have to cut them out separately. I was trying to minimize our time through the big shot, but the amount of time that we're spending with me mucking about here is getting to be ridiculous. Or I'm going to pull out some washi tape. So this will be a good example of what you can do if you don't have a magnetic plate. I'm going to line up this die and then I'm going to tape it down. Perfect. Okay. Now that it won't move. Okay. Goodness gracious. No stress at all. All right, bring those back. Take off the washi. Take off our wreath. You still want to be careful. The washi shouldn't stick to your paper, but you don't want to be too crazy about it. All right, and there's our house. And then we're gonna need some of these trees, which I've already colored. And I'm actually just gonna kind of cut these guys out like this. And then what do you guys think? Should we use this greenhouse since I already have it? Or should we color one of these houses with pool party? So right now what our card is gonna be looking like, we kind of got this, or we can do the tall house like I did in the other one. So we have this house, we're gonna have that little wreath on there. So we could use that little green, I think he's too little. We need to color one of those tall houses. All right, so we're gonna color one of the tall houses. So I'll wait and cut out the trees. Okay, so we're gonna do one of these tall houses. So what color do you think we should do it? We can do it either pool party, or we can do it misty moonlight, or we can do it old olive. I feel like we should do one of the blues. So So what do you guys think? Keeping in mind this would be the Misty Moonlight. And this other house had the pool party, or this card had the pool party. The pool party might look nice. Anyone? Anyone? Feeler? I know some of you guys are still there. I just don't hear you. Oh, I see a Misty Moonlight. All right. Anyone else? Otherwise, I'm just going with the one vote I've got. All right, let's do it. Okay, so for anyone who has these Misty Moonlight blends, it's quite interesting because the dark Misty Moonlight, it looks almost like it's a different color when it comes out. It's very interesting, but it's not. So I'm going to do essentially the same thing. I'm going to take the brush down the side. Oh, and I had a vote for pool party. Well, we're going to do a pool party door. We can, you know what, we can color both of these houses. This is when I should have had them already colored, right? Because this is when this gets boring. So that's why also cutting out of the DSP is a nice compromise. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I sort of was alluding to on the other one. I'm just going to kind of like build up a little corner of darker color. I'm going to, not with these houses, but I have seen on Pinterest, because I have been looking, a really neat idea where someone did an autumn card sort of more with these houses. So their house isn't any of these bright colors because it's not coordinating with that DSP. And it's like a brown, sort of more like a cabin. And they colored in the windows with, I want to say, maybe mango or daffodil to show like a light glowing from the inside. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. So that's on my list of things to do. So you can see that the color, to me, it looks quite a bit different, but everyone I've asked, this is the same way that their Misty Moonlight blends are. So it's obviously how it was meant to be. But so I find you really have to go and color over the dark. You want the pens, yeah? The pens are fabulous, Sandra. They are. Well, Christmas is coming. So don't forget, guys, if you have like a giant wish list and you have people who like to buy you gifts, whether it's a husband or kids, you just give your list to them and you give them my email and then we make magic happen. Before I became a demo, that's what my husband did every year. I gave him my list. I also gave the same list to my demo, and I would sort of rank my favorites, and then she would help him, and I would say to her, like, don't let him buy everything, because my list was always like crazy, and of course that would be like ridiculously expensive. And yeah, it was great. It was great for her, and it was good for him because she would actually wrap it in DSP for him. And so then I would like painstakingly unwrap it so that I could use the DSP that she had wrapped it in. So I'm just doing this roof in the 2 different shades of gray and doing a little bit of shading again. And then I'm going to shade the other direction over here. And then I'm going to show you, we're going to use a little bit of color lifter on this blue. And you can sort of see what that's like. Because I am finding with the Misty Moonlight, you need to use the color lifter to just get a bit of that lighter blue look. So again, I'm really making sure that's saturated, especially where I have the dark, so that it actually is blending. And so you might be thinking, well, aren't you just basically taking the dark away? And you will see that I'm not, but I'm just really blending it so you get a nice color. So I'm going to take my color lifter, and you can always go back and recolor with the darker color, but you just kind of usually want to start small with this. So I'm just going to kind of just lightly go over, and then I'm just going to kind of do the same over here. And then I'm going to leave that because you're going to see it's going to lift some of that color, and it lifts it more than you think. And then you sometimes have to go back. So let's do the door in the pool party. So I'm going to, again, the darker color. And then I'm just going to come out like I did on the other one. The other thing what you can do with the pool party, you can take the light pool party and you can kind of like just sort of do like a little bit of a swirl in the windows to just kind of sort of show the glass is there, you know? Kind of like if you saw my whiskey set, I had done that. So again, I'm just going to really color this in. And I'm going to take a bit more of my color lifter over here. I usually try to be a bit conservative because, like I said, you can always go back and add more. You can always go back and add more color too. Okay, so there's our tall house. So we could always put a car. I think we'll leave the car. We'll save the cars for another project. So I'm going to cut out this tall house. And I'm going to cut out some trees. So let's get the dies. Can you add one of those nice wish lists of yours to my next pickup? I definitely can, for sure. For sure. Okay, so we need that, and we need the tall house. So I don't know if you're noticing in my dies, can you see these? I've got little lines where I put ink, and that's so I know where to put the dies back. Because Stampin' Up! Does an amazing job of fitting them on here perfectly, and then I take them off, and then I can't figure out how to get them all back. So that is my trick, to figure out how to get them back in the same spot that I found them. You can see my plates are well used. I have new plates. I should pull them out. But it's like anything. You just think, oh, these are fine. But really, I should have like my video plates, and then I should have my when I'm by myself plates. I'm just cutting that off so that I can kind of put this wherever I want. Okay, so we've got that house. We've got the little tree. And we'll get some big trees. So again, I'm just going to cut that house off so that I can put this on here. Okay. We're going to move these aside. But then it would look like you never play. Well, that's true. If I had pristine plates, yeah, you'd be like, I don't know, should we trust this lady? Doesn't look like she's ever used any of this stuff. Totally. All right, so run this through. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like I said, I still can't believe that I originally didn't have this on my list when I see the charities it's for, but it's so cute. I am having so much fun with it. I'm so glad that I have it now. I'm going to cut out these other trees, and then that way at least we have the option of using them or not. And I'm going to the card I did this morning, I stamped. It was all just simple stamping. I didn't use the dies at all. And I used the tree that actually just had the branches. It was really fun actually to do that one too. And I did it quite quickly because my customer was coming to pick up her order. And she ordered the bundle, but I just wanted to show her what you could do without actually using the dies. It is much cuter. Yeah, right? It's so cute. And really for me, so again, if you follow me regularly, you know that I make cards for a realtor. So like these houses would make great little like, you know, happy new home kind of things. I mean, a little finicky maybe if I'm making 50 cards, but if you weren't making 50 cards, it's totally reasonable. And I've seen some really cute things with the car, just like, you know, boy birthdays or different things like that. So that's the thing. If you're ever kind of thinking, I like that stamp set, but what else would I do with it? Don't hesitate to like type it in on Pinterest or even go to Stampin' Up's website because they're artisans. Like if you notice today I posted all those cards with the inner pines. Like those people that they choose to be their artisans are like off the charts talented. They come up with the most amazing ideas. It's like super crazy. Okay guys, I am sorry this is taking so long, so I appreciate you hanging out. And if you're wondering what's happening here, my piece of watercolor wasn't big enough, so then it was so glad that I was putting this snow on the bottom. So that's what's going on there. So let's just glue that corner down. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna layer this little scene and kind of see what we like. So on the card, this other card, if we pull the other guy out, I did it like that, but I kind of like that tree there. And then we could maybe actually do this tree over here. And then we could have like the two trees over on this house, just to make it a little bit different. And then we've got our wreath, don't forget. And then we'll pick one of our greetings. So what do you guys think about that? And then we're gonna place it on this card, comme ça. I think, right, it's so cute. Like every time I play with it, it's like, it kind of reminds me of like when I was a little girl and I did paper dolls. Did anyone else do paper dolls? Or like fashion plates. Oh my God. It's just like, oh, so much fun. Okay, seriously. Oh my God. I took a picture of my desk earlier for my friend Chandra, because again, we were chatting today. And it was a bit of a bomb went off. And I swear to God, oh, here. I'm like, I know I had all these things. Here they are. Okay. And so the other thing I sometimes do, so in case any of you guys are wondering, sometimes my greatest moments of inspiration come like late at night. And this is usually if my husband is working or, well, generally he's working. So I come down here and then I kind of like do a bit of brainstorming and then I just leave it on my desk and I go away and then I come back the next morning. But when I do something like this and I lay it out and I'm like, yep, I'm happy with that, I take a picture of it so that when I take it all apart and I'm going to glue it back together, I know how I had it, because nothing is more upsetting to me than I don't put it back the way that I liked it. And then I'm like, oh, shoot, what did I do before? So we are going to use dimensionals on this front house, and we're going to use the little dimensional on the wreath as well. So you'll see I've pulled out my black dimensionals. I don't use them very often, but I'm trying to use them more and more anytime I'm using a darker image. So I used it on that other one with the misty moonlight. And I'm going to use them here because we're doing the gray. I'm going to use a little bit of glue here where we're going to put this tree. And then we could totally do some fun little embellishments on there. Okay, so I'm actually going to use my black dimensionals. You can see I have been using them because clearly I'm at the edge. And then I want to make sure that I don't put a dimensional where it's not going to be on the circle. So I'm going to put it more like this. And then pop up the left tree. Oh, that guy? Okay. And I'm going to do one in the middle, and I'm going to do one here. Okay. Sandra wants us to pop up this tree, so I'm not going to use black dimensionals for that. I'm going to use white ones, and I've got like a whole little row here. So that's perfect. Okay. So we're going to glue this guy down though. The other great thing about using see how pretty that is? We're covering that all up, but it's very pretty. About using this glue is that you can still move things around a little. So as long as you haven't pressed it all the way down, you got some wiggle room. Versus when we use the Stampin' Seal, or the old snail, or whatever anyone else decides to use, you pretty much don't have much room left for fixing if you don't like what you've done. All right, so we had this guy. I kind of had him tucked right like that. And see, I did this earlier today too. I put blue where I'm not actually, I mean, I am going to put that on my card, but I don't want it making a mess right now. That's why we use this silicone sheet. All right. We're going to pop this guy up. Pretty happy with how these trees turned out. And like 100%, you guys, I am still learning how to use these blends. Sometimes I'll do something and I'm like, wow, that looks so awesome. And other times I'm like, that's not my best work. But this tip about the saturating, I feel like has actually made a big difference in sort of what I like. Okay, so there's our circle. We're not using this little tree, so we'll save that for another card. Okay, so I'm probably not going to adhere this all down because that's just painful and you guys don't need to see it. So we're just going to lay it on and then we're going to go from there. So this is our card. Look at how cute it is, you guys. So now we can play around with our greetings. So we don't have to use one of these greetings that I've already cut out of the paper, but that is the one thing. This stamp set does not come with, there's no sentiments. So we know we don't want red because that's just going to blend in. I think we can safely say we don't want anything that's red. So let's look, we could do like a little blue greeting up here. And we could put a layer underneath it. Or we could do what do we got? A green one. Well, we could do something like that. I kind of want to keep it connected to the circle like I did before. So what do you guys think of that with this, just the season's greeting down there? Or we could do 'tis the season, happy holidays. Or we could maybe do this greeting. No, that's too long. I don't like that one. Okay, I'm leaving 'tis the season. Season greetings, 'tis the season or happy holidays. Or you guys don't care. They're all pretty similar, right? I'm gonna put these back in here. This is pretty cute, right? Lego. It's called Lego Dots. I think Lego Dots. You can also make a little pen holder, but I thought this was pretty fun. And look, I'll show you. Okay. Yes, you guys like season's greetings. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we're gonna do then, I'm gonna put a tiny snick, yes, that's a word, just ask Angela McKay, of adhesive on this corner. because we're going to stick it on here. And then we're going to use dimensionals, I think, and pop this whole circle. What do you guys think, right? The whole circle up off the back? Or should it be flat? I think we should pop it up. Why not? Why not? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so we're gonna just throw some dimensionals all over here. All right, and we're just gonna keep going because, you know, you guys are here. What else do we got going on? And then we're gonna use some little guys out here. And one right here. My apologies. I do try to keep these videos. Lost the pic. Did anyone else lose the pic? I still see it. I try to keep these videos shorter because I know people are busy. And most people, A, don't have time to sit and watch. So I try to keep them in that sort of half-hour sweet spot. But it's not always possible. What are we at here? We're already at 45 minutes. My apologies. I have to finish up anyway though because my son and husband are going to be home here in a second making noise from lacrosse. Okay, I'm pretty happy about this card, you guys. I hope you guys are too. I'm so thankful for your help and your opinions. So you can see how adorable this stamp set is, okay? Like, so adorable. And it's, Lynn, do you remember? It's like $24, 22, 24, I think, for the stamp set. The bundle is $63. The stamp set is $24. So $24 for this stamp set. And like, it's off the charts adorable. If you like to color, that's what I was saying earlier. If you like to color, this is a no-brainer. Like I said, I stamped all those images the other day. I just knew I would use them eventually. So I stamped them all and I threw all my blends markers in a bag, and Kiddos Lacrosse the other night was still when it was light out. And because I can't watch, I can just sit in the car. And if you spend more money, your husband's gonna kill you. Yeah. My husband doesn't know. Okay, so that is gonna go on there like that. Oh my God, you guys. Look at how cute it is. Okay, does it need some embellishments or do we just leave it? I feel like if we add too much more, we're gonna ruin it. These are the embellishments that come with this. So there's white dots, there's red dots, and there's yellow stars. So I don't think we need any yellow stars. We could always put some of these white dots on here. I don't know what people think. We could do like a dot and, oh, leave it. Okay. Okay. I'll leave it. I agree. It's pretty awesome as it is. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's the full card we made today with the coloring. Here's the one I'm gonna finish putting together. That is out of the coordinating DSP. So the DSP is on sale. You buy the stamp set and I give you some DSP. And yeah. It comes with those those embellishments go with it, and there's also this amazing ribbon in Old Olive and Poppy Parade. So you can't go wrong, guys. You can't go wrong. For those of you who have already purchased it, again, my thanks. I'm so thankful for your support. And go forth and have an amazing Friday night. I'm going to finish this one up. I'll post both of these photos tomorrow. And yes. Like I said, I'm going to be working on my In the Pines for my class to go. And there's a new bundle coming out in November, so I'm going to work on that too. And yeah, happy Friday, guys. Hopefully you can stay dry this weekend. And we'll do another video soon. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.